Salutations. Let's talk about something today from three aspects, all right? We're going to deal with, one is physical implants, all right? And I mean not the scalar ones and the ones that are maybe dimensional, the actual physical implants, like the ones that were removed by Dr. Roger Leir, all right? We're going to go over about them. The next we're going to deal with Morgellons disease, some of the things that were found underneath electron microscopic analysis of Morgellons disease and the fibers that they create, all right? And the third thing is going to be embedded beings, also called the gray layover, which was discussed by Dr. Linda Moulton Howe. She's gone into that twice, which deals with some of the masseuse that are seeing a gray overlay coming out of people, all right? So we're going to tie those three things together with really what would be if this planet is a petri dish of some type, or a zoological farm. How at current times, if our containers are being messed with, being dealt with, being changed, what would that really be like coming from a type 2 or 3 civilization with humanity at its current technological development? What would this actually be like? So that's what we're going to look at and kind of tie this together. Thank you very much. Implants. Let's talk about the real implants, the physical ones that were removed by Dr. Roger Leir. You just saw something that said most of the scientific research that was done by lab analysis, all right? Some interesting things that stand out to me about that is, one, that they contain iridium. Iridium is only found in meteorites. They have isotropic deviation of 4%. Anything the more than 1% has been proven to be of non-Earth origin. Okay, they contain advanced carbon nanotubes, all right, and nanocrystals. That's very advanced, enough to where I've been hearing the scientists say if they could be unraveled, it might be almost a mile in these implants worth of carbon nanotube wrapped up in these things, all right? Something else interesting about them is that they found out that when they were taken from the nervous system, they're connected to the nervous system of the subject, but once they're removed, they actually start breaking up when exposed to air, but when they're placed in blood serum, they start actually reconnecting, all right, growing back together. So that's another form that these things have, all right? These are more of the physical ones I'm dealing with that we can deal with scientific analysis of, all right? I personally believe that these things are also, since we know they're emitting certain frequencies, they're also ferromagnetic, they're emitting ELF frequencies, all right? What that is going to do is, I think that's enabling the subject to the contactee to be kind of coerced by virtual reality scenario technology we've talked about before, VRST, all right? I think it's taken them much more susceptible to VRST. I don't think it's much of a tracking mechanism like everybody's saying. I think it's leaving people open to giving screen memories and things of that nature, all right? So this, once again, is the physical implants we're dealing with, and also something to note that a lot of people that have had those removed actually feel like they noticed a difference in mood between the times they had it and a different. Some of these that Roger Leir removed, some of the patients said that they had them for 40 years. So that's going back to the 90s, definitely beyond our technology. We can just deal with that type of molecular nanotechnology now. Thank you. Morgellons disease. There's some things that are actually in common with that, with the implants. one being the nanocrystals and also the nano or carbon nanotubes. All right, there's a lot of those in Morgellons. Morgellons was first dismissed as being a type of parasitis, which is bugs crawling on you. But when they got these lesions that they're creating and people are complaining about, underneath the electron microscope, they found these fabrics. These fabrics contain carbon nanotubes, all right, and nanocrystals. Also, these contain nanoarrays, all right, which is for, in genetics right now, that's for DNA hybridization, all right. Within these nanoarrays are what called nanodots, okay, which are used as semiconductors. That's something very advanced, all right. Then we take that over to when these fibers actually start self-replicating, all right. It's called a nanospread. You just saw that on what was flashed here, all right. Then the nanospread, what's interesting about that is it tends to grow, they found, more in two environments. One would be in alkalized blood, which is being forced on so many people right now in certain types of veganism and things like that. We'll go into that another time. All right, and then the other thing is when it's exposed to blue light. When these fibers are exposed to blue light, the nano spread like self-replicates triple, explodes almost. Now, if you think about all the people that are holding the cell phones, looking into them, all right, also they're connecting right now this Morgellons to the chemtrails, the real ones like I saw over at SETI that are different than from where I live. All right, so that's some things to think of there. 3 aspects that this could be causing a serious problem, all right, and how it kind of ties into implants. And by the way, those implants don't have any immune system reaction for most of the subjects and contactees that have them. So most people that get Morgellons don't notice it at first. So that's just, once again, one more. Thank you. Embedded beings. This is also called the gray overlay. This was discussed by Dr. Linda Moulton Howe. So check out YouTube, type in embedded beings, Linda Moulton Howe, it'll come up, all right? Check out Earth Files. What she described, and she's talked about this twice, I've described this also in some of the interviews I've done. There is actually, this has come reports from a couple of masseuses that had said they were working on clients that had, when they were working on actually the occipital, I think it is, these clients seem to have a gray alien, a gray extraterrestrial come up out of their body, float up, and it was holographic. As the one lady described it, it was like almost a flash, like a static on a TV, and this thing kind of came up. And she said as soon as the client walked in, she kept thinking about grays out of nowhere, and that's not even her thing, okay? Also, during the time she's seeing this holographic projection, the cell phone that had been turned off by the client, as I guess is policy there at this institution, makes a weird sound while it's turned off, and this gray goes back down into this woman, all right, this holographic projection. And she said it sounded like there was some type of that sound and the frequency was somehow controlling this being, telling it, you're out of your cage, get back, or something of that nature. After this was revealed by Dr. Howe, you've got a number of other experiencers or masseuses that have come forward saying that they've had similar. So I think maybe this is a more wide-known phenomenon than there is. And how does this connect in to the Morgellons and the implants? This also ties in to the resurrection and soul transfer technology that we've talked about earlier. We've had other videos on that. So maybe tie these into, and what is it we're dealing with here? Is this some type of a situation where we have type 2, type 3 bio-androids that can project their consciousness into other physical containers, as in our bodies? Is that what we're seeing with some of these walk-ins? Is that what we're seeing with some of these channelings? I'm just giving this as food for thought. Do the research yourself. Check out Linda Moulton Howe, Embedded Beings. Check out Morgellons and Implants. Thank you. Conclusion. Damn, I feel like Mr. Rogers on the trolley going around that thing. We're back here to the conclusion now, alright? Drawing this together, we've got the implants and the physical characteristics of them. Perhaps they're opening people to virtual reality scenario technology. We've got the Morgellons that we're being infected with that appears to maybe be possibly some type of either extermination or reprogramming. 3, we've got the embedded beings, the gray overlay, all right? Tying these 3 things together and tying together what would type 2 and type 3 civilizations be doing to, if we're being biofarmed, for lack of a better term, all right? What would they be doing and what would their methods actually be with humanity at the current technological level and slight awareness? But there's a lot of people that are waking up right now listening to this, much more. So I'm just tying these together. Please do this research for yourself. This is certainly not about me. It's not just my theory. This is documented evidence out of laboratories. Do the research for yourself. Stay awake. Please subscribe. A lot of people are watching these videos, not putting likes on them, not subscribing. Hook a brother up. Come on, it's not that easy. Thank you, PC, for filming this. God bless.